Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me here. You're a very impressive group, and I'm honored to be able to speak to you today. My wife is delighted that I have the chance to speak to San Antonio because she loves being in San Antonio, and she told me, absolutely, you ought to do that so that we can go. So thanks for bringing us down here. Very much appreciate it. Yeah, I have been with the O.C. Tanner Company my whole life. I started there as an intern in marketing, and about 4 years into my time there, we started to have a struggle as a company. We go to market with technology, and we were approaching the market in a little different way. We do recognition products, appreciation, and so forth. And the focus before had always been annual banquets for recognizing people. And we introduced a software that says, hey, let's recognize people closer to their actual achievement. And what that meant for manufacturing was order size plummeted. From making hundreds or even thousands at a time, now we're making one or two at a time. We had very long lead times. We were set up for batch manufacturing. So costs were spiraling. Efficiencies were falling, and this was the 80s, and so a lot of companies, the answer for them was offshoring, and I kind of think that's maybe what was in the future for the O.C. Tanner Company. And they posted a job for a facilitator of change, and I thought, man, that sounds fun. And I had jet black hair at the time, so. But it was a promotion, and so I foolishly took it, moved into manufacturing, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And so I've been there for 38 years come January, and we had been on the lean journey for 34 years now, and it has been incredibly good to us. We actually started the journey before the term lean had been coined. We didn't know what to call it. And what I knew was I had seen a video in MBA school that Hewlett-Packard did in the 70s, a little grainy black and white VHS tape that showed that one-piece flow is more efficient than batch manufacturing. I remember when I saw it in MBA school, it blew my mind. And but that's the one thing I knew. Heading to manufacturing is we didn't have to be less efficient because we had smaller orders. And so we began our journey, and one of the most impressive things that we've accomplished, we did this after about 6 or 7 years, is we took our throughput time from 26 days down to 20 minutes. From the time you issue materials until you ship product, 20 minutes. And when I first moved to manufacturing, we had 8 directors who all they did all day long was expedite orders. They try to find it first, try to find the order, and then expedite it. And of course now, if you want to expedite something, well, you just launch it, because 20 minutes from now it'll be on the truck, and you can invoice the client for it. As spectacular as that is, we did it with one-piece flow. We are a high-volume job shop. Basically, we make everything to order. We can't make anything until the customer places an order because it's custom. And so everyone told us at the very beginning, oh, you want to do lean? Well, you can't because you don't make the right kind of product. And what we figured out was, no, this is for everybody and anybody. Everybody can do this, and that's a lesson that we learned. One of the coolest things about our journey was, we had plating, big presses. We had all sorts of difficulties and dangerous chemicals, cyanide, arsenic, lead, degreasers. We used ammonia in a lot of places in some of our ovens. And as we took apart departments and put everything into flow lines, into U-shaped cells, we had to get rid of the deadly stuff. And we found ways to do it. It took us another 10 years or so to do that, but none of those dangerous chemicals exist in our plants anymore. When we started our journey, we had 1,400 people making the product that it's now a less important product of ours. We've been in business for almost 100 years, and it's this lapel pin that I'm wearing right here. That's what we started with. and 1,400 people making these. And by the time we were done, just about 10 years later, we were down to 140 people making the same volume. And just tells you how much waste is in everything that we do. And you go to the factory now, and they're even more efficient, and yet nobody's breaking a sweat. Nobody's panicking and frantic. Everyone's comfortable because with their help, we've eliminated all the stuff that's hard, all the things that people don't like to do. Everything that makes the job miserable is gone, thanks to our wonderful people. But as impressive as all those things are, I will tell you that I think the most impressive thing about O.C. Tanner, the reason why we get thousands of visitors a year paying to come and see us, is they come to see our people. They are very engaged. They're enrolled. They are running the business and making great things happen. And when we're at Go-and-See site for McKinsey, for example, when they bring their clients, I ask them, "What'd you come to see?" And they said, "We told us we got to get on the floor. We got to see your people." That's the first place I take them. Let's go on the floor, go talk to some people, because when they come back 10 minutes later, they're putty in my hands. They're like, "How did you do this?" And I really think that the power that comes through a continuous improvement culture is the most important reason to do what we do. I think it's very powerful. And several years ago, we became a showcase company for Toyota. We're the only one west of the Mississippi, non-automotive. So we're very proud of that. They bring clients to there as well. So just a few words about O.C. Tanner. It's global. We're headquartered in Salt Lake City. We serve large enterprises around the world. So I have factories Toronto, London, Frankfurt, Mumbai, Singapore, Melbourne, and we're about $1 billion, not quite. And I have now 450 factory workers in Salt Lake, which is where I am located. So it kind of gives you a feel for size. And you're like, okay, well, what are you making? You're not making these? Well, I still make about 300,000 of these a year. Companies still like them, especially in the Midwest, which I love. And but new products like these. This is product that we do for Starbucks. They receive the token. The token's about this big, and the bottom slides into one of these wood trays on the bottom of the slide there. Kind of cool products that they like. Here's some that we do for American. They slide into that wood tray. They come in this packaging that feels like an Apple product. As you pull them, it kind of sucks up. It feels valuable. So that's the kind of stuff we sell, and kind of high-end trophies and so forth. We also do like swag products, onboarding and things like that. So that's who O.C. Tanner is. The products that my teams globally manufacture accounts for just only about 30% of the revenue. But that's the group that I'm basically talking about here today. Okay, kind of got a good little foundation there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about our 30-year journey, some of the systems that we've put in place that I think have been incredibly helpful along the way. And what I'm going to use is these are 11 steps that our TSSC, Toyota senseis taught us. I was talking to him on Tuesday. He comes once a month for 3 days, and I don't want to say beats us up, but he's very thorough. And anyway, I was telling him that I was giving this talk down here, and I was going to use the 11 principles that he taught us, and he couldn't remember teaching me 11. He said, I think there might be 13 now. Maybe there's 8. Anyway, this just shifts around, so don't hold me to, evidently this isn't doctrine or anything like that. But I love the fact that the 11th step says that you need to be people focused. And the first step says you need people stability. Obviously, if you're going to become a machine of continuous improvement, everything needs to be stable. The machinery needs to be stable. The processes need to be stable. The people need to be stable, and they need to have Kaizen capabilities. I love that that's number one, but I also love that number 11 is people focused. So I'm going to leave, as we go through these 11 steps, I'm going to leave that number 11 up there the whole time, because that's what we come back to in the end is the people. In terms of having people stability and Kaizen capabilities, Doug mentioned, I met him first with the Shingo Institute. This is the Shingo model. The idea is that right below enterprise alignment at the top there, you see create value for the client. And the point of the model is get everybody aligned to creating as much value for the client with as little effort as possible. So you do continuous improvement to create more value. And the foundational piece says if you don't have the right culture, you're going to struggle. And we have people who come all the time to see Tanner, and they say to me, we launched a continuous improvement program, and everybody was so excited about it. And 2 months later, it was dead. And I don't know what killed it. I'm like, I know what killed it. Your culture killed it. You didn't lay the groundwork to put people's heads in the right place. It doesn't take very much disrespect from peers or from management, from anybody else, to kill the initiative that people have to want to share their ideas. Nor does it take much on behalf of kind of a command and control manager or director to also kill people's thinking. Now, when we first began our journey, O.C. Tanner was a very top-down, controlling, autocratic business. This was 35 years ago. That's what I found when I moved over there. The team members just basically came in and shut up and sat down, did what they were told. And we have successfully turned that upside down to where team members now are running the factory. They're making decisions every day about what's best for their cell, and managers become coaches and teachers and mentors. And so the respect definitely matters. The peer relationships definitely matter. And I will say that transition from moving our managers from being the boss to being more of a leader and a teacher may have been the single most important thing we did. And it was one of the first things that we did. Went in there and I started talking about people being different, management being different. People liked what I was saying. They were afraid of it, but they liked it. Managers didn't like it, right? They didn't think that was a good idea at all. And then we also started immediately changing the way they worked. We started moving to one-piece flow. But a few years into the journey, one of the biggest struggle we were having was no team member believed they had anything to do with quality or cost or safety. If you asked them about it, they would point to the manager and say, well, that's their job. I'm just doing what I'm told. And I couldn't believe it because you touched the piece last, and surely you have something to do with the quality. No, I don't. And so we changed some of our systems. We created a system that basically meant that we would talk every week with every team member, their manager would, about their quality and about their efficiency, about their safety. And just a 5-minute conversation once a week. And it was astonishing how just like 5-6 weeks into it, I felt like the huge iceberg that was separating management from team members has started to melt. And you can't have a recurring conversation with somebody without starting to learn a little bit about them. Oh, you like to fish too? Yeah, well, how about that? You have a dog just like mine. Whatever it is, I start to see you more as a human being and less as an object who I'm trying to control. And I think as a team member, you start to see your leader is also as more of a person, with just as real as you are, with hopes and dreams and fears just like yours. They're a real person. And that started to happen. And after a year of that, we had successfully helped team members realize that they do have an impact on quality and so forth. But more importantly, I think we had dismantled this us and them mentality between management by helping people connect with each other. And so after that year had passed, we instituted our coaching system. It was probably the first system that we implemented. And we told the managers, look, we're going to stop doing this once a week, 5-minute thing, but you're going to sit down now every other week with every one of your people for half an hour, and you're going to really coach and develop and teach them. And what do you suppose our managers, what was their response to that, do you think? Sounds great. Yeah, they say, hell no is more important. More like, yeah, it was like, I can't do, I don't have time for that. You know, what am I going to drop? You tell me what to drop so that I can do this. And I remember saying, I don't care what you drop. You decide. And to this day, I don't know what they dropped. But I can tell you that within a month, what I heard managers reporting was that the problems were disappearing. Things that they were responding to, reacting to before were going away. And actually, because they were being so proactive in talking with people and solving problems individually with people, their job was getting easier. Their day-to-day duties were actually getting easier. And that's a bit of a leap of faith. I know it is. But for us, it was a very big deal. I will tell you a couple of, by the way, we're going to do some Q&A at the end. I think at 11:30 he said I could. It's just me. Yeah. No, I'm on a strict time budget here, so we'll do this right. But if you think of some questions along the way, happy to take those. So there's some of the other ways that we found that helped us build people stability and Kaizen capabilities. We hire very carefully now. As we got teams to a certain point of capability, you just don't take anybody off the street and put them on that team. You want to hire somebody who is like that. You want to hire someone who's collaborative by nature, who's a creative problem solver, who gets fascinated and curious when things don't go right. That's what we try to do, is put the right type of team member on the team. I'll also tell you that we used the Kaizen Blitz to great success early on. We did a week-long Kaizen Blitz. Didn't know what we were doing. Like everything else, we're making things up here. And at the end of the Blitz, I couldn't believe how the 8 team members who were involved, their whole understanding had stepped way up, and their desire to be part of the solution stepped up. And we decided that we will put as many people as we can through a week-long Kaizen Blitz as quickly as we can. We found that after a team member went through a second one, man, they were putty in our hands. I mean, they were all in. So we did a lot of that early on as a way to power Kaizen capabilities. So that's what I wanted to say about building people stability and Kaizen capabilities. That's not the whole story, but it's several things that we did to do that. The second step is building foundational systems, like coaching for us was a foundational system. And for us, what we found ourselves doing was any of these principles from the Shingo pyramid that we wanted to think about, like, for example, focus on process rather than like finding someone to blame. If an issue gets surfaced, how do we figure out, well, what happened here? Isn't it awesome that you helped us find this error in our system? How do we fix this? And so if you that's the way you want people to be, then you need systems in place that make it easier for them to be that way and make it harder for them to behave in the wrong way. And so we just started developing systems, any system that we thought would help us address these lean principles. We put them in place. And we probably have about 36 systems now. Probably the ones that people copy the most are our coaching system, strategy deployment, our idea system, our appreciation, of course, because that's our bread and butter. But I think we have gone really strongly after putting systems in place. And initially, all the systems were owned by me and by my vice presidents. And then we had team members who started to express interest and managers and engineers and whoever, boy, I'd love to take 5S and run with that. And they did such an excellent job that now all of the systems are owned by various people at all levels in the organization, which is really nice. I think about 10 years ago, I started thinking that when I retire, how do I keep the wheels on? How do I get everyone to own this? And now they all own it. So I'm not so worried about that anymore. Number 3, build systems then to surface and solve problems. And just a couple of those I want to talk about. One is our idea system. We have an idea card, an improvement card. This is what the improvement card looks like. And when someone has an idea, they don't share it with a manager, or they don't talk to some improvement team about it. They fill it out on the card, and they put the card on their team board. And I remember the first time I walked into a team and handed them the first improvement card. This was maybe 15 years ago or so. And I said, hey, I wonder if I could get you to fill out this improvement card. And they said, improvement? Show me find an improvement. Look, if you want to improve things, go to sales. They're the ones screwing everything up. I don't know if you ever heard that before or not, but yeah. Insert the name of your favorite department in there, right? I was like, I hear you. I know what you're talking about. I'm looking for 3 pennies. I'm looking for 2 seconds. That's all I'm asking for. Okay, they take it, they run it. They solve something. They take 2 seconds out of a process. They turn the card over on the back, and they do the math, and they're astonished to find out that they just saved $850 a year. That was easy. Let's do it again. And literally within like 6 weeks, they were no longer complaining about the sales department. They're saying to themselves, "There's lots to do right here." I think maybe they're seeing it for the first time. Because of this idea system. So you walk around to any of our boards and all the teams, Magic is the name of a team, and these are their idea cards sorted on the board. They put them on the board, and then the weekly team meeting, they pull them off the board and they talk about them as a team. And they can't do them all. They pick and choose. They choose the best ones, the ones that they think will give them the biggest bang for their buck, and they implement it. There's not somebody who approves it. There's not somebody else where it goes. The team just does it. And when we go and visit the teams on a quarterly basis to kind of follow up on their strategy deployment, one of the things they do is they love to show off all the things they've done in the last 3 months. It's great show and tell, and very powerful. So anyway, so that's one idea of something we've done to build systems to surface and solve problems. The 4th step, get everyone solving done. And I think you see that in the system on the boards again. Not only are lots of idea cards, but the metrics that they need, the metrics that the team needs to do the right thing. So our visual management is an important system for us. It serves us very well. Another system that we have problem-solving systems. So you can't just say to a team, you're empowered, go fix stuff. I mean, they got to know how to decide what to fix, and there has to be a methodology for fixing it that you can count on, that you can trust, and people have to know how to use that system. So our problem-solving systems are another big part of what we've done. I'm describing for you a 35-year journey, right? So this is what we did last year, right? I hope you see that. The next step is the material flow and the supply chain. Pursue smooth flow where possible to eliminate delays and waste. So when we started, we had 28 different departments spread out in 3 different buildings on multiple floors, and everyone had a ton of WIP in front of them. No wonder it took 26 days to get through. Not to mention that nothing could actually get through the process. Everything hit a snag along the way, quality, destruction, loss, started over, started a new one 2 weeks later, you found the old one. I mean, it's just, you probably have never experienced that, but that's what we had. And the first thing, within the first month, in addition to pitching empowerment to the team members and coaching to the managers, I also grabbed 5 machines, and I put them in our first 4-person cell. These were, some of our machines were huge. Even though I'm making this little tiny item, I had machines that are bigger than this, monstrous, that when we took them out, I needed a blowtorch, a acetylene torch to cut them up and to take them out of there. Why would I have, well, I'm gonna get to this later, but why would I have any machine that's not bigger than this? right? And I'll show you, that's where we ended up. But these 5, I could move, and so I did, and they were all next to each other. And we put a one-piece combine in between them. Everyone was happy to have us take the one-piece orders. Nobody wanted to work the one-piece orders because the setups were so miserable. This trim machine took 2.5 minutes to set up. It was the first process in this 5 process flow. And if it took 2.5 minutes to set up, 10 seconds to do, then you can understand that for most of the time, 3 of these 4 people were sitting there twiddling their thumbs. And every 2 minutes and 20 seconds, a piece would come out the end, right? And that's what they were doing. But we also had them verifying, before they started working on a piece, they'd look at it and say, is this fit for use? Make sure the quality was right. And then they'd add value to it, and they'd check it to make sure it was right before they pass it on. So we had plenty of time to do that. Yeah, everyone had lots of time. But we were right in front of the trimming department. The trimming department was right behind us, and they'd set up a trim. It'd take them 2.5 minutes to set it up, and then they'd just start trimming. They could trim one every 15 seconds or so. I could just hear those trim machines out back there just going ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And here it was 2.5 minutes, one would come out. And I thought, this doesn't look efficient. But what was happening behind you is they'd set up the trim, they'd start going, and 30 minutes into it, the trim broke, and they just keep going. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Look how efficient I'm being. I'm spitting out parts. And nobody even noticed that the part was unusable for a week, right? They go through 2 other processes before they get to the process. They're like, well, I can't use this garbage. And we've spent time everywhere working on this. Now, you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Okay, maybe you do. So even though this little 5-person cell was only spitting out a piece, 4-person cell, 5 operations, only spitting out a piece every 2.5 minutes, if you take the pieces produced divided by the hours putting into it, they were twice as efficient as those same departments were. And they weren't even working hard. I mean, that's the cost of quality. And maybe there was something else in there too that was going on, but it was so powerful that we were convinced that was the right thing to, well, I was convinced it was the right thing to do. I was still trying to convince other people. But I put together what I called this alpha cell, everything before plating, everything on the ground floor. I got them together, and we did the same thing, one piece full. Hadn't changed any of the machinery, hadn't changed any of the setups, and we just ran pieces, one piece through here, and there was a lot of sitting around, but they were, again, twice as efficient and turning out almost perfect quality. They were catching it if there was a problem, almost twice as efficient as those neighboring departments. Now, what do you think those other departments thought about that? It was like witchcraft or something, or somebody's making up numbers. It did feel real to them. But the 15 people working in this cell, they believed. So I had 15 out of 1,400 people, who believed it. The problem was that our CEO didn't believe it. And bless his heart, when is that not what you say about your CEO? I don't know. He, when he gave me the job, he handed me Schoenberger's World-Class Manufacturing book, and he liked the title, I think. And he said, "This is what we want you to do." And there's a U-shaped cell in that book, So I thought I had approval, but he didn't like it, and but he had good reason in that what I had here wasn't scalable. This annealing process that's in the top right corner there, that was an ammonia-fed oven, and every piece at the time, when you press gold into a die, it hardens. If you want to press it again, you got to soften it up, use the ammonia so it doesn't tarnish, and then you can run it again. And the ammonia-fed oven took 20 minutes to run through, and then would come back through the process again. I mean, miserable production. And but they were ammonia fed, so they were all in one place. And if you know anything about ammonia, you know it kills you, right? Don't want to be in a room with ammonia. And his point was, what you designed is not scalable. And he's right? It wasn't scalable. I argued it was, and his henchman John said to me, well, where are you going to put the second one? I said, I'm going to put it right there. And where are you going to put the third one? I'm out of space, right? Yeah, okay, you got me. So we took it apart. I was devastated, absolutely devastated. And the great thing about my wife, Lisa, if I come home overly confident, she reminds me of my humanity. But but if I come home beat, she would take me in her arms. She would lift me up, and I appreciated that. I did a lot of that through the years. We took this cell apart, and then I thought, well, let's go up on the corner of the second floor where I'd never seen Don go before. And so I went to final assembly and took 4 departments. They had 4 managers and a couple hundred people, and put them into little 4-person cells where they did all the final assembly processes. It was brilliant. It was fantastic, and the managers liked it. And so we took apart all those 4 departments and put them into these little cells, and we're feeding work to them. Beautiful. And I thought I had conquered the world, so I went on a week-long scout camp with one of my boys. And while I was gone, the people rose up and went to talk to my boss, the president of manufacturing, and told him that I was a loon and that this was ridiculous and that nobody liked it, and so he took it apart. So I came back from scout camp, and they were back into 4 departments, and the managers were like, what happened? What is this? I don't even know what to tell them. I guess this is real life. But anyway, he didn't like that, and I was so frustrated at that point that I did maybe the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I went down to the CEO and I told him, I can't work for that man. I've had it. And I think he must have been on his last leg because he fired him. He fired him. And so I don't know. Don was sometimes on my side, sometimes I didn't never know, whether he was coming or going. But so we went back after that, and we put the front line back together. That worked beautifully. We put the middle cells together, everything after plating, put them in the middle. And then we had all these other big monuments like plating and annealing and the wash that we couldn't figure out yet. And we didn't figure them out for another 10 years, quite frankly. We had pretty good things flowing between frontline enhancement and final assembly. At one point, we connected. We had a queue of work in front of these enhancement cells because they had to be sequenced in a certain way to not bottleneck. And you had another queue in front of frontline because they had to be sequenced in a certain way. What we didn't know how to do was how to launch it through the frontline so it could then go right to enhancement and keep flowing through. Couldn't figure it out. But we put the teams together, and we actually started flowing work from one frontline team to an enhancement team, and the teams figured it out. To this day, I don't know how they did it. Very smart when it comes to solving the problems of production, I think. But oh my gosh, I'm out of time already. Let me tell you a quick story, and then we'll take some questions. I'm not going to make it through all the other points, but that's okay. One day after, so now the frontline and enhancement teams, they're connected to each other. They're not sitting by each other, but they are connected to each other. One day after team meetings, they came down to see me, this combined group, and they said, hey, Gary, we want to move our enhancement team next to our frontline cell. And I'm like, that is the answer. That's what we want to do. But I got to do 13 of these. Let me figure out the moves. It'll take us some time. And they left. I thought they were okay. Came back the next week, same thing. Gary, we really want to move our enhancement team next to the frontline team. I'm like, I know, guys, be patient. We'll work this out. They left. They didn't come back for like 4 weeks. So I thought I'd won them over. When they did come back, they said, hey, Gary, we want you to know that on Tuesday, we're moving our enhancement team down next to the frontline. So it's like, what? How are you going to do that? You need air and gas. Yeah, we got everything hooked up, the power. I go over there, they've cleaned out a space, and what's your plan? We're going to go up, and after first break, we're going to unplug all the machines. We're going to wheel them down the hall, put them on the elevator. Now, by then, we had created all new machinery. It was all on wheels. And if you don't want people moving the machines how they want to, don't put it on wheels. That's just, maybe that's a secret, a little note to jot down to yourself. They're going to take it down. After lunch, we'll be up and running. And I thought, 2 hours. I couldn't pull together a maintenance team who would pull it off in 2 hours, right? And especially not something that would make them happy. That day they go up there, they start unplugging machines, they're wheeling them down the hall, and everybody else in the enhancement area is saying, "Hey, where are you guys going?" Like, "Oh, we're going down by our frontline team." "Who told you could do that?" "Nobody, we're just doing it." It was the beginning. And by the way, they didn't get started after lunch. It took them until second break, 4 hours, but it was what they wanted. They did it, right? And again, if I had set up a team, it wouldn't be right. They'd be, whatever about things. I think that was kind of the beginning of teams realizing that, look, we understand what needs to happen and we just need to do it. And the teams have made fantastic. Now, we eliminated we connected final assembly in the end. We took apart all of the big monuments. They hated it because it would leave to go to plating. It would be gone for anywhere from 2 hours to 3 weeks, and it'd be like, "Where is it?" "Well, we don't know. It'll show up when it shows up." We had to take apart plating. We had to, in the end, put everything into this U-shaped cell that they need so they can control the entire operation. And what we have found is that when teams have good metrics and when they control the flow, they make incredible decisions and they become very powerful. And I guess just the last thing I wanted to say, and I'll just slide to the end here, is I noticed early on there's some cool equipment that we built. Here's that trim machine that used to take 2 minutes to do the setup. We took the different parts and put it into a self-contained cartridge and created a machine where that cartridge just slides in. Now it's 1.5 seconds set up. So we thought, single minute? That's too long. It's all seconds now. Anyway, lots of other cool stuff here, but I talked too long about everything else. So I did want to say this, that I think that what we have found is that our people are incredibly capable. And if you teach them, if you empower them, if you give them great systems, they can make great things happen. And Doug mentioned that I love to be on the floor. If I'm having a bad day, I go to the floor, I talk to people. Talking to our team members brings me joy. It lifts me up because I have complete confidence in them and their ability to drive this business. We gave them their gross margin information for each of their lines. And I had people arguing with me, what are they going to do with that? You know what they do with it? They act like owners. They act like entrepreneurs, and they make really good decisions. And I think, as I said up front, I think the most important thing that I have found from chasing a culture of continuous improvement is the power that comes to people as a result of it. And I believe that fully, and I thank you for your time. And I would welcome any questions that you had. Yeah.